Coming up next on This Week in Torrance, the city gets a taste of the East Coast with the grand opening of this restaurant.
Plus, you can never be too safe when it comes to driving, and it's particularly important to start learning defensive driving techniques at an early age. We'll tell you all about a local business teaching teens just that.
Then the state of education takes center stage at this annual address.
And a new facility recently opened in Torrance, helping patients and healthcare professionals learn the important ways of medical care for the terminally ill. These stories and much more are just seconds away.
Your local news starts right now.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to This Week in Torrance. I'm Jin Chun.
And I'm Ben McCain. Thanks for joining us. Here are your top stories. The Torrance Chamber of Commerce held their annual event to discuss the future of the city's public school education. Reporter Jennifer Hua has the story.
The city's business and education communities came together to celebrate their partnership and discuss TUSD's budget at the annual State of Education address.
Today marks 31 years of the Adopt a School program that we have in partnership with the Torrance Chamber.
Each year, businesses participate in the Adopt a School program in order to help create a better learning environment for students.
We've been able to participate in activities at the school. We've been able to judge their science projects. We've been able to clean up their facility.
The Chamber of Commerce gave special honors to several partnerships for their work this year, including Alcoa Fastening Systems and Howard Wood Elementary School.
The school was the recipient of a $20,000 Alcoa Foundation grant for 2012-2013.
This program allows schools to receive extra funds, which is especially important now with the state of California's school budgets in jeopardy.
The dispute is due to the governor's desire to increase funding to poorer districts or districts with larger quantity of ELL students. He's trying to increase funding to LA Unified or Hawthorne as opposed to Manhattan Beach or Torrance.
Torrance Assemblymember Al Maratsuchi and Senator Ted Lieu explained this inequity to Brown, and the current proposal is set to be revised.
We can change a proposal that had dramatic winners and dramatic losers into a system where everybody wins, and some districts will win some more.
With the success of the Adopt a School program and changes to Brown's budget proposal in the works, there are high hopes for the city's future in education. For This Week in Torrance, I'm Jennifer Hua.
Thanks, Jennifer. Governor Jerry Brown revised his budget plan this week. A total of $96 billion will be distributed to schools for general funding, but the budget still needs to be approved by the legislature.
El Camino has a problem, a good problem, thanks to a growth of about 3% over last year. El Camino is adding about 100 classes to its summer schedule and 200 to its fall semester. Now the school hopes they won't have any trouble attracting enough students to fill the added seats. Due to the recession, there have been 5 years of cuts to community colleges, causing budgets and course loads to plummet by 20%. El Camino alone went from 21,000 full-time students to 17,000. College President Thomas Fallow indicated there is a concern whether demand will be there for the new classes and hope students didn't get too discouraged from continually having to close classes in the past. Now, thanks in large part to Proposition 30, it looks like the things are on the upswing. Prop 30 is a temporary tax hike designed to stop the back-to-back years of education budget cuts. While it's not known what will happen in 5 years when the proposition expires, at least for now it's helping by giving El Camino and its students an opportunity they haven't had for years.
You might have heard them at one time or another, and it's a big topic of conversation for those living near the Torrance Airport. I'm talking about helicopter noise. The FAA recently decided not to impose regulations on helicopters, and residents had a chance to find out why during a public hearing at Griffith Park. The FAA responded that more studies, meetings, and continued cooperation are what's needed to cut helicopter noise. The regulatory agency emphasized they prefer voluntary rules instead of enforcing new rules. Many in attendance at the meeting disagreed, indicating voluntary restrictions would be nearly impossible to enforce. Many alternative suggestions were made, like tailoring altitudes to a given area of the city and to establish a centralized place to file complaints against a helicopter, while eventually establishing mandatory restrictions hasn't been ruled out. For now, cooperation, time, and more studies are what's needed to help silence the noise.
The mayor and city council members were back in session this week. Here's an update on the latest meeting. Police Services Officer Patrick Hennessy was honored for his retirement from the city after 32 years of service. One of the many highlights during Hennessy's career was developing defensive tactics training classes used by the police department. The council accepted a donation of more than $62,000 from the Friends of the Torrance Library. This donation covers the online homework assistance program provided by Tutor.com, the library's ebook service, and the adult summer reading program. Mayor Scotto had a special surprise for one of the heroes to be honored in the next phase of the Hometown Heroes Recognition Program. The program recognizes and honors Torrance residents and their family members serving in the armed forces in active duty or as veterans. Councilmember Bill Sutherland's son Keith was home visiting his parents, and the council took the opportunity to present him with the banner that will be displayed on Torrance Boulevard. You can catch replays of this week's council meeting right here on CitiCABLE 3 on Time Warner Cable or Verizon Fios Channel 31 every Wednesday and Thursday at 10 p.m. and Friday, Saturday, and Sunday at 10 a.m., 3 p.m., and 8 p.m. You can also watch online at torranceca.gov.
Longtime Torrance resident Charlotte Lobb passed away at 77 from a battle with lung cancer. Lobb is best known for writing more than 50 romance novels for Harlequin and other publishers. She also served on Torrance's civil service and cable television commissions, was a producer for Torrance Community Television, and wrote a column on volunteering for the Daily Breeze. Lobb is survived by her husband Charles, daughters Carolyn and Patricia, and 5 grandchildren.
I'm just lying here, don't you see me? Pick me up, pick me up. If I'm lying here, can't you see me? Pick me up, pick me up.
As a first-time Olympian, it was a true honor for me to represent Team USA in London. I'm also proud to represent another great team, the Multiple Sclerosis Association of America, who sponsors Swim for MS, a national fundraiser where you can create your own swim challenge. Anything from swimming laps for pledges to jumping cannonballs for cash. If you love swimming like I do, register today at swimforms.org.
Get ready, Torrance locals, for some good grubbin' in the South Bay, Philly style. A new sandwich restaurant had its grand opening and is ready to take orders. Here's Deja Charles with the story.
The East Coast has made a new home in Torrance at the brand new Philly's Best Sandwich Shop, and it's already got the mayor raving about it.
It's a little unique because it brings a little bit of Philadelphia to Torrance, and I personally have tried the sandwiches. They're really, really good.
Unlike other East Coast influenced restaurants, Philly's imports all of its ingredients, including the Ambrosio bread and cheese slices, from the city of brotherly love. It's got the store owner Mukesh Patel excited about this new venture.
People are very good here, and we have a very good business here without advertising, and this is the grand opening. We opened 1.5 months ago, and we got a good response in this location.
For the city, this is just more than a new lunch spot. It's an investment of jobs within the community.
It's not the fact that this is adding to the quality of life for the sandwiches that they provide. It's the fact that they're adding jobs to the community. And even though there are going to be 10 or 15 new jobs here, it's still, every one of them counts, and it's important for young people to have a place to work.
So if you're looking for a cheese-filled steak sandwich or a hearty hoagie with an East Coast flair, be sure to check out Philly's Best. For This Week in Torrance, I'm Deja Charles.
Thank you, Deja. This is just one of 4 locations opened by Patel and his partners. You can find Philly's Best in the Torrance Crossroads Plaza off Crenshaw Boulevard.
Well, get ready to wash down some of those Philly sandwiches with some tasty local brews. Smog City Brewing is open, complete with a tap room for your tasting pleasure. Reporter Shannon Murphy has the story.
At the official ribbon cutting for Smog City Brewing, owners John and Lori Porter couldn't be happier.
A little overwhelmed, but also excited and super happy, and yeah, just feeling awesome.
Well, we've been working towards this day for 5 years, so it's a pretty amazing opportunity to have all of these officials come to celebrate our opening of our business, and all of our craft beer enthusiasts coming as well.
With all the hard work and preparation that went into the brewery and tap room, it was finally time to cut the ribbon.
1, 2, 3, go!
With certificates presented by city officials in hand, it was time to welcome the guests and serve up some of their award-winning beer, like the Groundwork Coffee Porter, or any of their other uniquely named brews like Amarillo Gorilla or Third Nipple Triple. The brew-making couple hopes their great beers and open approach to running their business will make you a fan of Smog City Brewing.
I think we work really hard to let our fans know us personally and know our lives and know our experiences in opening this business and running the business just as much as they hopefully enjoy our beers.
For This Week in Torrance, I'm Shannon Murphy.
For more information on their local craft beer, visit smogcitybrewing.com.
Learning defensive driving techniques is important at any age, but it's usually most helpful when you learn early on. Here's Juanita Adami to tell you all about a program teaching teens to drive safe.
Here in Torrance, there are a total of 5 high schools, and that means no shortages of young drivers.
I stopped a young girl today who was driving with teenagers in the car, and that's outside the provision of her driver's license. She's not allowed to have passengers in the car.
California law states that for the first 12 months after a teen is licensed, they cannot transport passengers younger than the age of 20. But this doesn't seem to be the only traffic law that teens are not following.
She was running late, and all the kids were late, so she decided to drive down the gutter lane, which is really not a lane, bypassing the traffic that was stopped for the red light. As soon as she got to the intersection, she made a right and was going about 55 miles an hour in a 35 zone.
Officer Jason McDonald works traffic and pulls over, on average, 1 teen driver per day.
When they get their driver's licenses, probably I was guilty of it too. Most of us, when we get our licenses, we're overly excited about it and we want to get on the road, and overly ambitious, maybe a little overly confident.
So how can we help teens understand the importance of driving safely?
Kids are supposed to drive alone until they've had their license for a year, and that gives them a chance to practice driving without having a lot of distractions.
Andrea Stavast owns and operates the South Bay Driving School. She can't emphasize enough how important it is for teens to follow this rule.
A lot of times the kids still have their friends in the car, and it's something that really needs to be enforced. They need that alone time while they drive to learn how to be defensive.
The South Bay Driving School offers courses specifically targeted for teens and also teaches them techniques in defensive driving.
For the most part, defensiveness is very important in driver's education.
Stavas also told us that it's important for parents to not only enforce but practice good driving habits, because chances are your kids are watching. For This Week in Torrance, I'm Juanita Adame.
Thank you, Juanita. For more information on teenage driver safety, contact the South Bay Driving School at 310-791-1111.
During the final moments of a loved one's life, families and friends look for peace, serenity, and guidance. Providence Trinity Care Hospice Foundation is preparing professionals to bring just that. Here's Deja Charles with the story.
In 1982, it was reported that only 25,000 people use the services of hospice in the United States. Today, it has increased to 1.6 million. Providence Health and Services are teaching communities about the importance of hospice care. And it's starting right here in Torrance. Jacqueline Glass has been supporting the Providence community for years. She and her husband Jerry believed in strong medical support and wanted to help any way they could. So they began with hospice, the medical care for the serious or terminally ill patient.
We started working with hospice 22 years ago, and we were really small, like a little mom and pop grocery store. And we had wonderful visions for what the future would bring, but it's taken a long while to get there, and we are there today.
This grand opening of the new research and education facility goes beyond being another venture for Jacqueline, but a personal reminder of how hospice staff helped her and her family through their own difficult times.
My husband was diagnosed with a blood disorder, and he was on our service for 11 months, and then he passed. And everybody was so wonderful, and so you don't know when you start something that you are going to use it.
Knowing both sides of hospice care, Glass joined forces with Foundation supporters to start a research center that will educate medical providers on hospice provision. Dr. Glenn Komatsu says that 95% of problems in hospice are caused from miscommunication.
We're not well trained in medical school, residency, nursing school, in practice, even in social work school and chaplaincy school, that there was a need for a center like this to really help people teach these skills at a deeper level.
Mock hospital rooms are set up with cameras to record simulated scenarios. Afterwards, medical professionals and volunteers review the recordings to see firsthand how they interact with patients.
We want them to hear from each other. How did you answer that question? Oh, I never thought of that. So it becomes kind of a collaborative learning experience for all of them.
This facility is not just for adult patients, but for children as well. Gay Walker, who is the director of the Trinity Kids Care Hospice, shares with sponsors the stories of the 2 walls covered in pictures of child patients she has grown to know and love.
Thanks to the support of our community and the foundation, this work is going on. It's not stopping, it's just getting bigger. Many more needs for these dear children.
For This Week in Torrance, I'm Deja Charles.
The Providence Health and Services Douglas and J. Glass Family Center officially opened this month and will be collaborating with the 5 other Providence hospitals for their services.
There is no substitute for human blood, and every 2 seconds someone needs it. The American Red Cross, NextCare, and celebrity spokesperson Soleil Moon Frye have teamed up to raise awareness of the need for blood donors with the campaign Giving Has No Season. Usually, 1 pint of blood is given during a donation, which can help up to 3 people. For more information on how you can donate and the campaign, visit redcrossblood.org or call 1-800-RED-CROSS. Coming up after the break, summer is here and so are the cherry blossom trees. We'll tell you all about the new donation.
Here's Marley Matlin. Since 1977, Dogs for the Deaf has been rescuing dogs from animal shelters and professionally training them to assist people who are hard of hearing. These highly trained dogs become the ears of a deaf person by alerting them to specific sounds. Imagine not being able to hear your baby crying, or a smoke alarm going off, or someone calling your name. Hearing assistance dogs are trained to identify all sorts of sounds and to lead the deaf person to the source of that sound. What's more, by observing the dog's behavior, that person has a better idea of what's happening around them. It's really amazing how it works. Dogs for the Deaf places dogs free of charge anywhere in the United States or Canada. If a dog doesn't complete its training to become a hearing assistance dog, it never goes back to the shelter. The people at Dogs for the Deaf find it a forever home through adoption. If you or anyone you know might benefit from having a hearing dog, visit the website of Dogs for the Deaf. And if you can, please donate. Your dollars will help people and dogs for many years to come.
The Torrance Cultural Arts Center is hosting Songs from the Homefront by the 300th Army Band. This event will take the audience on a historical journey through popular American wartime music from the Revolutionary War to today. Using a wide variety of musical ensembles, multimedia, and narration, Songs from the Homefront will be educational and entertaining for audiences of all ages. The event is free on June 19th at 7:30 p.m. in the James Armstrong Theater. For more information, go to call 310-781-7171.
The Torrance Rose Float Association has a couple of upcoming events, starting with an invitation for you to join them at the Lazy Dog Cafe. On June 20th, they will be hosting a monthly fundraiser from noon all the way to 11 p.m. Just download the flyer from their website, torrancerosefloat.com, so that 15% of the total bill can be donated to the organization. How would you like to ride down Colorado Boulevard during the Tournament of Roses Parade, January 1st next year? For just $10 a ticket, you can have the opportunity to win a seat on the Torrance Rose Float of 2014. Just call 310-618-2425 for tickets. Drawings will be held on December 3rd of this year.
The Katy Geyser Civic Center Library is hosting an event with award-winning author Harry Turtledove of science fiction and fantasy legend. Come meet the author on Saturday, June 29th at 2 p.m. A selection of Turtledove's books will be available for purchase and signing.
Now let's go out to the sports desk where Juan Hernandez has a preview of what's to come.
Juan, what do you have for us?
Hi, Jin and Ben. Good to see you here at the sports desk. As always, check it out this week. What the heck is a yote? Elko's Josh Wilson is headed off to a championship-winning university with quite possibly the coolest mascot in all of D2. And the folks at the UFC gym take us inside the octagon, kinda. We get a look at what the MMA brand is bringing to fitness in Torrance and how they're different from any other gym you might find in the South Bay. Same time and channel as before. You can catch that with us on the sports desk every day at 4 p.m. and 9:30 p.m. right here on CitiCABLE 3. Back to you.
Thank you, Juan. A few colorful additions were added to Descanso Park as part of an ongoing donation project to help promote peace, culture, and education. Here with that story is reporter Juanita Adame.
Descanso Park will be home to 10 new cherry blossom trees, donated by the Soka Gakkai International Organization.
Today, planting of these 10 trees marks the 170th tree that we're putting in Torrance.
Mayor Scotto and several of the council members were at the tree planting ceremony along with several taiko drummers who performed for the crowd. The mayor hopes to have close to 300 new trees planted throughout the city for everyone to enjoy. Community Relations Manager Ian McClareth said the new cherry trees represent friendship and peace.
Our president of the SGI, Daisaku Ikeda, loves to consider trees as being a beautiful example of what friendship is. They start small, but over time they grow, they flourish, they spread out, sink their roots. So let's continue to do that as trustworthy, contributive members of the city of Torrance.
Cherry blossom trees bloom in the early spring. Mayor Scotto told the crowd that although they're only in full bloom for a few weeks, the site is beautiful and everyone should stop by to see them. For This Week in Torrance, I'm Juanita Adame.
The Soka Gakkai organization has donated 500 trees to the city of Torrance. Currently, there are 150 planted at Columbia Park, and the mayor hopes to expand to all parks within the city. Well, that's going to do it for us on This Week in Torrance. I'm Ben McCain.
And I'm Jin Chun. If you've missed any portion of our show, you can catch us again at 11 a.m. and 6 p.m. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time.